Hi, and thank you for joining this webinar on Sibling Connections, Preparing Children and Families for Sibling Day Camp with CYFD. This is Megan Walsh. I'm the Director of Adoption Services at La Familia, and I will be going over this PowerPoint with you today. So thank you again. Please feel free to email or call the numbers at the end of this presentation if you have any questions. So we're going to go ahead and get started. The goals and objectives for this whole program are to facilitate some meaningful shared experience among siblings, to help them build empathy and support, to develop their communication skills, to build trust and cooperation between the siblings. For the objectives for this day, for the camp on the next one is May 5th, is for the siblings to really identify and practice sharing information with their sibling about when they need to feel supported and how they can support their sibling, how they can express their needs and respond to their siblings' needs in appropriate ways, and how they can practice reflective listening skills. They're going to get some support in identifying strengths in their siblings and in themselves, and they're going to learn about where their comfort and learning and panic zone is, and making some healthy decisions based on these. So a few of the basics: there will be 3 Santa Fe Mountain Center staff running the program. The kids will need to come dressed in layers, a t-shirt, maybe a light sweatshirt or jacket, long pants. They really need to be prepared for varying weather. This camp is in the mountains of Santa Fe, and so it's important that they be able to kind of tolerate a variety of weather because we really never know how it's going to be. Santa Fe Mountain Center can provide any additional warm or waterproof layers that they might not have. And they'll need to wear closed-toed shoes. Tennis shoes are great. They'll be running around and very active outside, so some closed-toed shoes are really important. Lunch will be provided by Santa Fe Mountain Center, so you don't need to worry about that. Please encourage kids to leave their cell phones with the adult who is dropping them off for the day. It's important that they not have their cell phones as a distraction. So the schedule for the day, again, the next webinar or the next camp day will be May 5th, and they're going to need to be dropped off at 9:15 at the Lamberton CYFD building. That's at 1031 Lamberton in Albuquerque. And then between 9:30 and 10:30, Santa Fe Mountain Center will transport the children from Lamberton to the Santa Fe Mountain Center in Tesuque. At 10:30, they'll start the camp, and that'll run until about 3 o'clock. And again, lunch will be provided. Between 3 and 4 p.m., Santa Fe Mountain Center will transport the kids from the Santa Fe Mountain Center in Tesuque back to Lamberton. And at 4 p.m., all of the children will need to be picked up from the Lamberton office. If you have any issues the day of, you can contact Molly Clement at 575-708-9388 or Anastasia Rivera at 505-681-0133. Again, those are for issues the day of the camp. So we wanted to talk a little bit about how you prepare kids for knowing that they're going to go to a day camp with their sibling, how you talk with them about this issue. A lot of these kids haven't seen their sibling in a while, and that's why they're participating in this camp. And so we want to be sure that we're being mindful about how we do that. So whoever decides to talk to the child about the camp should be the person who has the strongest relationship with the child. Could be the foster parent, could be the worker, could be GAL, CASA, whoever has the strongest relationship with the child. And we want to make sure that you have the specifics to answer each of the child's questions. We want to make sure that they have the information they need to process this event. So we need them to know when and where the camp is. And the camp is going to be, again, on May 5th. And it's going to be at the Santa Fe Mountain Center in Tesuque, New Mexico, which is just outside of Santa Fe. They're going to want to know how they get there and how they're going to get back. And the answer to that is that Santa Fe Mountain Center is going to transport them from the Lamberton office and back again. And then you need to let them know individually who will take them there and who will pick them up from Lamberton. And then kids are going to want to know who will be there. And this is going to be individual for each kiddo. So they need to know which siblings are going to be there. For some kids, it may be one sibling and not the other. So you want to be clear about that so they're not disappointed. And let them know which staff. Maybe you can introduce them to the Santa Fe Mountain Center staff at the time that you drop them off. There will be some CYFD staff there as well, so introduce them to the CYFD staff. And they're going to want to know what they will do. Some of the activities that they've done in previous events are a ropes activity, they've done crafts, they've made lunch together, and the kids have really had a lot of fun. So they've been a lot of outdoor activities, a lot of activities that help foster teamwork and emotional expression between the siblings. And then what can they bring with them? It's really important that the kids understand that we don't want them bringing technology or things like that that may distract them. But if there's something that they want to share with their sibling, maybe it's a picture or a letter or an award, those kind of things absolutely can be brought with them. I'd really encourage you to make a copy so that it doesn't get damaged and let them show those items to their sibling. And who can they go to if they're struggling? If they're having a hard day after you talk to them about the camp, who can they go to? If they're having a hard time processing it, waiting for the camp, any of those things, if it's bringing up big feelings, who can they go to prior to the camp and the day of the camp and after? We want to make sure that kids have answers to those things and have a plan in place. And we'll go in more depth on that in a minute. So the next thing we want you to remember is that mindfulness is an important first step. A lot of times foster parents have huge, huge feelings about their kids having contact with their family of origin, and that can be for a lot of reasons. So we want to encourage you to be mindful about your feelings before you talk to the children about it. Do you believe that contact is important? Do you have your own painful past or current experiences with your siblings or family of origin? Are you worried that the child might be hurt? Have they been hurt in the past? So we want to think about that. And then think about it from the child's perspective. How long has it been since they've spent time with this sibling? What experiences have they had with this sibling? What role did they play before they came into care? Were they the one that took care of all the other kids? Were they the one that was blamed for any problems the family had? We want to make sure that we think that through and anticipate some of the struggles the kids might have as they prepare for this event. And then we want to just identify and acknowledge your feelings. We want you to know that what you do as a foster parent is so hard and so wonderful, and you have feelings and they're real and valid, and it's okay to express your feelings. It really does take a strong person to acknowledge those kind of hard emotions without letting them get in the way of what needs to be done for kids. So if you're having feelings, please don't push those down. Be aware of it. Let those feelings come up and talk to a safe person. That might be your CYFD worker, your therapist, a Project Revive or Fiesta family advocate. Those are all very appropriate people for you to talk to about this. And they can help you to strategize how you can best support the kids in your home as you're moving towards this sibling camp. We also wanted to give you some tangible tools. How can you help to empower the kids in your home for this event? So as you are preparing to talk to the kids, let them know they're going to participate in this camp, we wanted to give you just an easy checklist that you can work through. And this applies to the kids as well as to you. It's important that we're self-regulated so we can help the kids regulate. So we want to think, have we eaten recently? Have we had enough water? Are we tired? Are we stressed about something else? Are things feeling rushed? Am I going to have to run out and do something else right after this and not have adequate time to process? You might also want to set out some fidgets, some Kleenex, maybe a snack or a water bottle. Have some things that make it easy for the child to have a release while they're talking with you about this. And then what do you say and how you say it? Sometimes parents will say, well, sure, I want to talk to my kids about this, but I don't know how. I'm not really sure how to bring it up. So here are just some simple guidelines. You can give the child factual information on an age-appropriate level. You can say things like, next Saturday, you're going to be able to spend some time with your brother Jim. Very clear, very specific. Go slow and check for understanding. What do you think about being able to see Jim next week? You're giving another example of when it's going to be and what it's going to be, but you're checking on their feelings about this. Another example might be you and Jim will meet up with about 10 other brothers and sisters for a fun day of camp activities. How does that sound? Make sure to allow the child some time to talk and reassure them that you're available to process the situation now and later. And oftentimes I hear from families, I don't know when I've said enough. I just keep talking, and then suddenly the child kind of spaces out because I feel like I've lectured them too much. So you can be done with this conversation when the child can walk away knowing when they'll see their sibling and for how long, knowing how they'll get to the meeting and who will pick them up, knowing that it's okay to have big feelings about it, whatever those feelings might be, and that they have a plan if they do have big feelings. So an example of a plan would be to talk to an adult or a trusted friend, draw a picture, write in a journal, listen to music. We just want to kind of brainstorm some ideas with kids so that they have an idea of how they can have an outlet about their feelings. And then preparing for the visit. It's important to remember that some kids will try to self-sabotage by acting out, maybe in ways that they haven't in a long time. Let them know that there's nothing they can do to lose the visit. It's important that they have the visit. And you might want to say something like, I'm wondering if you're worried that the visit won't go well, or it'll be canceled at the last minute. If I were you, I might worry about that, but it's not going to happen. We're going to make sure it happens. Sometimes kids can really try to control their fear of disappointment by misbehaving in ways that can cause some very negative consequences. So if you put it out there at the very beginning, you can't lose this visit, it can kind of minimize that. You also may want to schedule a phone call or video call with the siblings prior to camp if you can do that. Some kids, again, might want to bring some special items to show or share, pictures, awards, letters, music, that kind of thing. And you might want to think about incorporating some sort of a tangible way to count down the days. That might be really helpful for kids who have anxiety and a lot of trouble waiting for things. You can do a paper chain where you take off a link every day. You could do a calendar where you cross off days every day. If the child has a cell phone, you can set an alarm for them so it shows them that you're not going to forget and gives them kind of a tangible way to see when that is happening. You want to say something each day to let the child know that you remember. For example, I'm going to get gas in the car on Friday so that we don't have to stop before we head to your visit on Saturday. You're giving them information about how you're going to ensure that their visit happens. So many of our kids have been disappointed by the adults in their lives, missing big events and not preparing in advance. And so we want to make sure that the child doesn't have that to stress about. If you can, pack up the night before, get that extra layer of clothes ready, make sure that everybody gets enough sleep, pack up your water bottle and your empowerment bag that we're going to talk about in a minute, but prepare the night before so you're not rushing around the morning of. Again, if you have difficulty coordinating transportation or any of this information, please contact Molly Clement at 575-708-9388 or Maya McKnight at 505-660-1589. And then you want to prepare an empowerment bag for the car ride, both ways, both in the car with you on the way to Lamberton and then back home, but also a bag to keep with them on the bus. Pack some things in their backpack, like a protein snake. Don't pack a snake. Protein snack, a fidget, water, a favorite toy or item, a weighted blanket can be really helpful. Some soothing music with headphones can be really great. Okay, so the day of, we're at the day, and you could be excited, kids could be cranky, they could be quiet or extra talkative. Try not to respond harshly to however they're behaving, and just give them some space to process the experience and their feelings. They are most likely having a lot of anxiety about what that's going to look like, and it's important that we understand that excitement and stress download exactly the same way in the brain. So We want to give them some leeway here. Let them know that we understand their feelings, whatever they might be. You can say things like, I wonder how the other kids are feeling about today. If that were me, I might feel nervous. You know your kiddo best. Plug in whatever words you think they might be feeling at this time. The goal is to validate their feelings and just wonder out loud about what that might be. Share their empowerment bag with them. Let them know that the item inside are their tools to help them deal with however they're feeling throughout the day. Try not to limit their use, but let the child lead and take what they need when they need it. So drop-off procedures. During the ride to Lamberton, you want to talk about the fact that they're going to get to the camp. You're going to introduce them to people at Lamberton that are going to go with them to the camp. Remind them about the things that they're going to do, that they're going to have fun. They're going to do a ropes course, some crafts. They're going to make a meal together, be outside together. Let the child know that there will be safe adults to help them if they need it. And again, introduce them to a specific person when you get to Lamberton. Make sure to make that connection for them. And then remind the child when and where you will pick them up. I know we often assume that kids will know that we'll be there to pick them up, but often the kids don't. So we want to be sure to be intentional about reminding them when and where you'll pick them up. And then make sure they have the bag with the empowerment items, the water, the protein, the weighted blanket, the fidgets, any of those items that they want to show their siblings, as well as a change of clothes in their bag. And then when you're ready to pick up, please arrive 15 minutes early for pickup and be prepared to be at Lamberton for at least 30 minutes to allow for a thoughtful end to the day. We don't want kids to feel rushed as we separate them from their siblings. So please follow the instructions provided by the camp staff and ask the kids and their siblings if they'd like a picture taken together. You can easily take a couple pictures with your cell phone. Remember that kids love different poses and goofy faces, so it can help them to kind of lighten up the mood a little bit if you can be prepared to take some pictures for them. And then remind them of their next planned contact with their sibling. After the visit, again, we'd really encourage you to have some empowerment items ready and easily accessible in the car. If you have a kiddo who often kicks the back of the seat in front of them when they're upset, a small, lightly inflated or kind of disinflated, actually, exercise ball stuffed between the floor and the seats can be really helpful. They can kick all they want on that and get some proprioceptive input and some calming through that without being dangerous in the car. So that can be really helpful. Every child responds really differently, but it would be common for a kiddo to feel sad or mad or jealous or conflicted or just at peace after a visit. And so we want to be open to letting kids experience whatever they're feeling and just acknowledging that it's okay. Don't assume that kids are feeling a certain way, but you can wonder out loud how they may be feeling. Sometimes if they can't tolerate you wondering how they're personally feeling, if you wonder out loud how other kids might feel, that can be really helpful and open the door. You might want to incorporate some quiet music or a relaxing audiobook that they like. Those can be really great transition tools. Be open and attentive to anything they want to share, but try not to pry. Accept that they might not want to talk about it at all and let them know that that's okay too. The evening after camp, they'll have been busy all day at camp and they may be really tired, especially if they're not used to a lot of outdoor activity. So try to keep things mellow that evening. It can be really helpful if you decide to prepare a meal that the child likes and let them know that you made it specially for them. You can make time for a soothing bath or shower. Again, they'll have been outside. They're probably going to really need that bath or shower. Let them kind of choose what they want to do that evening. Maybe it's spending time playing a game. Maybe it's watching a movie or doing something with the family. It's really important that they be engaged and connected with safe people that evening. And then you could also help them print and display the pictures from their visit, or make a plan for doing that. Let them know that their relationship with their siblings is important to you. And so if they've told you stories about what happens over the next several days, it can be really helpful to just kind of mention it. Like, oh, I remember when you said that your sister made the sandwich a different way than you were used to. That must have been interesting. Should we try making it that way? Just acknowledging that you heard, you understood, and you remember their story can be very powerful for kids. And then talk about future plans for visits if that's appropriate and you think that will happen. So we also wanted to give you some resources and support. You can contact your local family advocates for Project Revive and New Mexico Fiesta. The names are listed here: Katie Bustamante in the northern part of the state, Monica Koyu and Carol Glotzner in the Albuquerque metro area, Jennifer Wilhelm in the southeast, and Nicole Johnson in the southwest. And you can reach any of those people by calling 505-766-9361. And they are really experienced foster parents who can help you to access training, support, and resources for this whole process. So thank you again for taking the time to participate in this webinar, and we are excited to hear how the sibling camp goes and hope that this information is helpful for you in preparing for that. Thank you again. Have a great day.